Why they do ass like that, bro? Why they do ass like that, bro? Mount Everest ain't got shit on me. Why take my meds? Still don't know my name. What is up, my people? Welcome back to the channel for another album review. I'm your boy Nassim the Dream. Listen, if you are new to the channel, I'm gonna need you to hit that subscribe button, hit the bells button to always keep notified on my newest content. And for today, the album that I chose to review is the newest Labrinth album, Ends and Begins. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is the third solo LP from London singer, songwriter, rapper, and producer Labrinth. So back in 2012 is when Labrinth debuted with his first LP, Electronic Earth, which of course is a much less mature side of Labrinth, which is pretty much obvious, musically at least. But even at this time, I really felt like Labrinth was still turning heads due to a lot of the solo credentials that Labrinth has under his belt, and has continued to do so for most of his career, and is still improving his craft. A lot of people may know him for his collab with record producer Diplo and singer Sia on the LSD record that showcased a somewhat big commercial success, as many of these songs did pretty well and are actually pretty good. But what really made Labrinth a Goliath is his musical score and soundtrack for the notorious HBO hit TV show Euphoria. With incredible hits provided for the show, such as the songs Still Don't Know My Name, Formula, Forever, and All For Us. This is the musical work that put me on personally to Labrinth and really had me stick to his radar because of his glorious creative influence of ethereal and futuristic pop qualities. It really left me wanting to suck the life out of these soundtracks just because of the nectar, how sweet it is with these refreshing sounds that just had me begging for more Labrinth. After his glorious performance at the 2023 Coachella Music Festival follows this new LP, Ends and Begins, which in my opinion is such perfect timing after all the hype and thrill he has caused in those past 2 weekends. Beginning, Labrinth walks us in with this new discovery into the intro track, The Feels, introduced with some spacious plucks and ambient background noise. This then shimmers along into its ethereal twinkle and droning bass, making this a reminder of the Euphoria world, with a surprise feature, might you know, from the star of the phenomenon herself, Zendaya. I really felt as if my soul was being carried across the stars through this glamorous galaxy with such a beautiful sung passage from both of them. It's mighty impressive work, especially from Zendaya. She still sounds so good. Gotta throw love back to the replay days. Wanna put this song on replay, I can listen to it all day. When it comes to the influence for these ethereal qualities, you're pretty much reminded of it throughout the entire LP, but he's just so good at capitalizing on it. I was really enjoying the progression on the second track, Kill For Your Love, though there is a small defect on here that I feel like it would have been a lot better if the basses on here weren't so low mixed. I mean, it really sounds good with the LFO effects on here. I think it has really good quality to it, but the subs just feel so quiet and just weak on here. So I feel like if the sound was amplified a bit more, I would have definitely gave it the fire emoji. And then continuing on with some of the flaws that I kind of discovered into this album, continuing on when it comes to the song Everything, this track specifically kind of felt like it was just missing something. It had a lot of great factors into it in terms of the sound design and the production. It was definitely a lot more leveled on here, but something about it just didn't really feel so complete or fulfilling. It's almost as if I was pulled in to believe that there would be this like huge crescendo or finale to the end of the song, just something more bigger that it has to uphold and present, but more so it just cuts off and ends off all of a sudden with like pretty much no explanation. And you do discover more impressive instrumentation when it comes to various organs, pads, and synthesizers, specifically on the track Covering. But this is yet another track that upholds so much potential, just so much more. This is just pretty much a mere taste of something that could really be just so much more, especially from the talent capacity that Labrinth exceeds. There's actually a couple more songs on these that kind of feel like more B cuts and just a little bit unfinished and a little just less tweaked compared to the really good songs on here. And then there's even cuts on here that kind of just feel like more ideal for like transition scenes for the Euphoria show. A song that showcases itself is pretty much the interlude like a turn of events, though I do find the fusion of mysterious symphonies and twinkling chimes to be rather strange but very interesting. It somehow feels like it lacks some kind of correlation or something. I really felt like it could have been a lot more better if it had been a little bit more cohesive to the previous song and to the following song. Maybe if they just like flowed into each other, it would have felt a lot more significant and involved. However, things do start to pick up after this moment when it comes to the 6th track, the 100 miles an hour, that this uses some trap drums and some really good bass and some really peculiar car sounds that are pretty impressive. Musically, sometimes that's what's holding some of these songs back, but vocally, Labrinth is just holding so much of the weight for a lot of these songs, including this one. This is the reason why I feel so much more engaged with a lot of these tracks. However, speaking on that, I do feel like musically, if things were more thought out and a little bit more various, it would have been a lot more better and just a lot more fluid, and just it would have felt like it flowed a lot more. And then getting to the peak highlight for me, at least into the entire record, hits the moment with the song Never Felt So Alone with the surprise feature from Billie Eilish. Now, I talked about this song before. Originally when I heard it, it was a very small snippet for the Euphoria show, so I was a little bit confused of why this was released so late, but now it makes sense because of the LP. But originally it was not known that a Billie feature was involved in here. When these two collide in here, it merges into like this big bang effect. It's so overwhelming. All of the minor flaws on here, which I think were intentional in terms of like the clipping and just some of the static noise on here, it felt a little bit off, especially when I hear it on my studio monitors. But because of that, and again, I think it's intentional, it kind of just washes away everything that I don't really enjoy about some of the production here. It's just that good. They are that good on this song. Because this Billie feature is so significant to the success of this song. Her dark aroma just goes so hand in hand with the production style of Labrinth. It's brilliantly thought out and performed. And then continuing on to the very finish of the record, you do start to notice a lot more notable sound design highlights, especially with the song Power Couple, with Labrinth giving us numerous sound waves of bass sounds that accumulate of a noise influence that really leave a remarkable impression on you. But songs like this, man, are the ones that really make me feel like Labrinth could have just done so much more with impacting some better motifs onto these songs. His vision is there and I am all for it, but there are just some missing pieces that I can't really ignore. I overall do like this LP, but I really can't help to scratch my head on some moments for the repetition uses of some of the ARPs and some of these intros, of some of the noise sweeps and the transitions. Like, they're certainly useful in many moments onto the album, but I really think that it could have been more interesting if there was some curveballs thrown to really eliminate the predictable structures of a lot of these songs, and just because it really feels like it deflates a lot of the momentum at times. But look, I want to end off this review by still saying I highly admire the talent of Labrinth, especially with his prolific producing and writing, much of the content all by him, and still finding ways to come up with magnificent ideas that shape a lot of what ethno-pop wants to be and what it should be. As well as I do want to give him yet another praisal for his wonderful performance at Coachella. It's something that just outshines so many of the acts on there. It's mind-boggling and ultimately just so amazing how talented this man is, even on stage. So yeah, I really do think this record was quite the treat to follow up with, and with that all said and done, I am gonna give Labrinth's Ends and Begins a 70%. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed, go on to like, share, and comment down below of what you thought of this record. And do not forget to check the description for all my separate tracklist ratings for the album, more videos, and also the links to my social media accounts so you can keep up with me on the daily. I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Deuces.